Hi everyone! So today is a very rainy, gloomy day right now, but I have a book review for you. I just finished A Knight in Shining Armor by Jude Deveraux? I don't even know how to pronounce her name, okay? Last name, okay? I know it's Jude, and it's a female. There she is, right there. And this was an interesting book, to say the least. For one thing, I won't be keeping it, and the only part I really did like was the first sex part. There's two sex parts in this book, because this book is technically two parts. So, like, in the middle of the books, like, the first half is set in the present, and as we know, and the second part is, I'm just going to say it, there's a little spoiler, but it's set in the past. I'm not going to say what time in the past, but it's going to be set in the past. And you can, if you watched the previous book review or where I've mentioned this and like read the back or stuff like that, wherever I read this part, you should, already remember. It's like, oh, you go, that's the past. Okay. But anyway, as a general story, it was quite entertaining, but the one part of this is at this point in her writing first let me find the copyright, 1989. Okay. At this point in her author life, being an author and such, because she's written quite a few books prior to this one, I very much do not like her writing style. Like, all of describing what they're doing, the way they talk, the way they think in their brain. I did not like it. Did not like it at all. That's the one, bad part of this entire book that I did not like. And that is one of the reasons I am not keeping this book. As I said, yes, it was a very good story in general. And I like the fact that, you have, back history, and then you go and, you went back in history and were in that time, and just that I liked. But reading it in general, just I can't keep it for that one fact of it being like that. And I definitely did not like the first. Where is it? Let's find it. Where is the chapter? The first 3 chapters? Yeah, 3 chapters, because the prologue was fine. But the first 3 chapters, because this is chapter 4 here, I did not figure I would like this. There was only a small part of me was like, I can keep reading this, but a bigger part of me, the majority of me, was like, I do not like this. I do not like the way this, the first, there's a few guys in here, but the first guy, Robert, literally, in the first page, back and front, I'm not spoiling this, but the first, guy, and his name is Robert. I do not like him. I do not like him at all, but I did like Nicholas back here. I like Nicholas. Or Nick, or Colin, whatever. Nick. I really liked him. I really liked his character. It was a good character, throughout the book. And I'm gonna say this, I didn't like him in it's not very obvious there's a part. It's not like part 1 or part 2, but you get this feeling of it being in 2 parts, this book. I did not like Nicholas at first when the part 2 started, but that part I grew to really like. I loved him throughout the first part of this book, the first half. The second half, I had to re-like him because I didn't like him at first. The way she wrote him, something happened and, I didn't like him at first, but then I grew to like his character again. And the only part of this book that I really, really liked, the plot, the way she wrote it, and all of that stuff, was the last 2 chapters, literally 20 and 21, because all of this is a preview for her next book called The Duchess, in order of all the books that she wrote, pretty much. And yeah, but there's I wish she had wrote it a different way of these are star-crossed lovers, and I wish she wrote it in a way where it's I actually know you, I recognize you type of thing of like, oh my god, is it you? Is it like really you? That's what I thought was going to happen, but something else. That didn't happen, and I wish it did. That's the only small part that I don't like about the last 2 chapters. But again, I really loved those last 2 chapters. Those are the only ones I actually really loved, and literally, I just read the last 2 chapters in like the last 5 minutes before I started this video. What else could I say? I loved finding out about what Douglas. Okay, if any of you knew how to pronounce Douglas, Douglass, if any of you know how to pronounce that, because I'm just pronouncing it as Douglas. If you know how to actually properly pronounce it, put in the comments down below, because I have no idea. But anyway, I love the chemistry between Douglas and Nicholas. It was so great. I loved it. I loved finding out about Nicholas's family, because you find out through this book about how his family is. That part was really good, but I'm not keeping this because, like, in general, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't stand how you are writing all of the stuff, like all the stuff that they're doing, what they're saying, what they're thinking, and just, I hated it. The only time I liked it was, the last 2 chapters. That's the only part that I actually really liked. I know I'm very enthusiastic right now, but I can't keep it. It sucks, but I can't keep it because I probably will not read this again. I do not want to read this, like, again. So, I'm not keeping it. And if I did, it'd be like, every time I read it, I'd be like, I hate how you're writing this. Not to say that I don't like Jude, because I do like her book called Wild Orchids. I listened to that on CD or tape, whichever the two, and I really liked that. I loved that story, and it's not part of a series like this one is, because this is part of the McTaggart, Montgomery? Or it's Montgomery. I know it's Montgomery. Montgomery has a lot to do with this, but there's also it's like a 2-family part, and like they end up a lot of those 2 families coming together. I know it's Montgomery, and I think it's either Taggart or McTaggart, that second family, something along those lines. So I do recommend reading this book. I definitely do, because as I said, in general, it was a very good story and very good plot, but I don't like the way of how she wrote it, not what she wrote, because I like what she wrote about. I just don't like how she wrote it. But she does get better, because I do love Wild Orchids, and I bought the book because I loved it. I loved listening to it, and it made sense. A portion of the time, I can't tell you what portion of that is, but a portion of it, I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I was reading it, and it's like, what is going on? What exactly are you saying? Because how you're talking is just messing my brain. And, like, what you're doing, I don't even know what you're doing, because of the way how she wrote it, all that stuff. But, I do recommend it. It was a good book in general, so this book, yes, so I won't be keeping it. It was as I said, generally a good book. So I'm going to leave it at that, because I keep saying it was a good book, but I'm not keeping it because of all that. There we go. This is my next book, Someone to Love by Jude Deveraux. By Jude, this person. And this is one of her newer books. This is a copyright of, I've got a hair on me. Copyright is 2009. This is part of the Montgomery McTaggart type. I say McTaggart because there's a Moira McTaggart in the X-Men series, and she's a human that sympathizes with all that stuff, and she's a doctor, and so, whatever. That's why I get McTaggart. This is I find all of our new stuff because this one and Wild Orchids, that's right behind me, they have this cover printing, and this is also like newer. That is like, I think it's 10. That's 10 years old. A Knight in Shining Armor. That book is 10 years old, whereas this, this is. We're not even 10 years old yet. We're only 7 years. This is only 7 years old. Anyway, this is my next book, Someone to Love. And I've read literally the first chapter. There's only one chapter. There's no prologue. There's no epilogue. Wait, I think there is an epilogue. But I am on chapter 2, and there's still freaking long, insane chapters. Also in England again. That book was set and based in England. This is also based in England. But, the people have come over from America to England. So, anyway, I finally I've been confused. Ugh, I've hurt something on my chin. But anyway, I read the first chapter, and I've confused at one point. And then there's also a little part in here where it talks about our main character's history, like the history that's come up to this point, to the beginning of the book. It was confusing how she wrote it, but I was more confused about what she was writing about. So I finally get to read this, read it to you, read it to myself. Like, I literally have not read it, so that's why I've been a bit confused. So now I hopefully get a little unconfused. Because, there's something going on, and, you'll, something going on. There's a mystery to hear. And with mysteries, you're always going to be a little confused. But I'm a little more confused than just, general, this is a mystery. I'm a little confused. I need to find out about this mystery. So, let's read this. It's been 3 years since his fiance's mysterious suicide. That part is the mystery of this book. Well, part of it. And also, that's part why I'm a little confused. But I'm also a little confused as, if this is a romance book, where is, because we're reading it from, the guy's side first. We meet the guy first, and basically we're going to meet the female later. Instead of meeting the female first and meeting the guy later, type of thing. So I'm, what female is going to be his counterpart? Because his first fiance, is dead. And Jace Montgomery, and the name is weird. Jace, it's Jace. But it's a little less weird than having Douglas. And Jace Montgomery still hungers for answers. Stacy was kind, funny, and in love. Why, on a trip to England, would she end her life in a room above a village pub? That's not true. That part's not true. She didn't end her life in a village pub, I think. No, because she was somewhere else, and yeah. Then Jace stumbles upon a photo of a rambling estate tucked inside one of Stacy's books. A cryptic note dated one day before her death. Ours again, together forever. See you there. Drawing on his family's vast wealth, Jace returns to England to purchase the unsightly priory. It's Prior, Prior, and then there's a Y at the end. I don't know exactly how to pronounce it. I think it's Priory? It's called Priory House. Soon discovers it is haunted by the headstrong ghost of Anne Stewart. Unraveling the ties between past and present with the help of a beautiful local journalist. Too much liquid in my mouth. Jace must... Jace? That's going to be a little annoying. Must at last reconcile his heart-wrenching loss and his own hopeful future. I'm still a little confused, but I'm a little less confused of a part that I was reading in chapter 1. And I don't know why I have this new thing with my hand. I don't know why. Anything else I can give to you? There isn't, yes, there is an epilogue. So there's actually 24 chapters instead of 3 because I always include the epilogue in my number count. Give me. Thank you. That's all I get to give you about this book. So, yes, this is my next book, and I do have a book that is in transit at the library. It is the next Betsy Taylor book. I won't be getting that until next week on, no. I don't want to go out again because I'm running a little low on how much I want to use of my bus money, because I want to put that to, shopping. This is my next book for right now, and my next book would be the next Betsy Taylor book, so that's what's going on. And wear my Pikachu hat hoodie thing. And I love it. I actually find I love this one a lot more than my Vaporeon one. Just because the sleeves feel a bit more normal than, my Vaporeon one. But anyway, I'm making this a bit too long for certain reasons. So anyway, I hope you liked my book review. And if you did, hit that like button down there to show me you did. And if you have any comments about A Knight in Shining Armor, if you have read it, please leave it down below. And, all that other stuff that I've asked you to help me pronounce down below. And, I don't want to take any more recommendations from Jude because I already have the one. And I kind of like her. She's okay. She's starting to be okay in this, but I don't know. Anyway, and if this is the first time you're watching my videos, you hit that big red subscribe button down there by my picture for more book reviews, hauls, unboxing, unbagging, because some things come in a bubble wrap, manila envelope, or plastic bag wrap thingy. Vlogmas, random vlogs, and random videos that I have no category for them. Yet. For now. And I hope you liked this video, and you come back for more. I will see you all in my next video. Bye-bye, everyone.